Hey ladies and gentlemen, how you guys been doing? It's your boys here and welcome! Now today we're gonna talk about games. That's right, basically. We're gonna look at games and we're gonna, these are questions. These are basically questions that have been sent to me by Garra from Twitter when I'm thinking for this. And before we go dive into this, I'm gonna nominate people from the very start. For the people that will not watch this or even bother checking out the description, I may as well do so. So, right, I'm gonna start with girls, then I'm gonna start out with guys, then I'm gonna start out with couples, and just go from there, basically, you know. So let's start out with girls. I'm gonna nominate, which are the girls that I watch from time to time. I don't really watch many videos nowadays, but I'm gonna nominate Hilda, I'm gonna nominate Rukia, I'm gonna nominate Ellie, I'm gonna nominate, which should I nominate also? Nightlight Neon also, because I believe she wanted to nominate me back in the previous videos that I did question answers, but I was kind of quicker than her, so I'm gonna nominate her. But then again, I would have nominated her anyways. Who else should I nominate? Who aren't I having on my head right now? I would nominate. Yeah, I would nominate Varia, but basically she doesn't really make YouTube videos, so that's gonna be that. So that's gonna be the females I will nominate. The males I will nominate is gonna be Frank Trode. Then it's gonna be Miguel Megamogwai. Then it's gonna be my brother Skyrender, Christopher. Then I'm gonna nominate Axel, or do we say Raymond from Russia, because Russia owns Raymond, and those Russian jokes, man. I'm not gonna go into them. Then I'm gonna Verdalit, definitely. Who else should I nominate? I got some names here, but I'm not just gonna go with those ones. So yeah, also Victor, yes, done deal. I'm gonna nominate him as well. I want to see his answers on this. Who else should I nominate? I should. We're gonna go with couples now. The people that are basically together, girlfriend, and whatever status they currently have. I'm gonna go. Well, I could have gone with Christopher's fiancée, but that's not gonna work out. She doesn't make it to video, so I'm gonna skip with that one. This is taking a while, doesn't it? I'm gonna nominate Alina, Moody Pones, as well as Kevin. Those two are definitely together, so who else is together? Yes, I'm gonna nominate Pedro, as well as his girlfriend. I cannot seem to tell her name, but I believe her YouTube name is something got to do with sarcastic. Go check them both out in description. Like, I'm gonna leave all people in description, but them two have like the best Mario Kart, like basically co-op video you ever find. It's hilarious. Who else should I nominate? Well, I'm gonna actually TSP Vector. Yes, I completely forgot about you, man. Vec, definitely nominating you too. I would have nominated your girlfriend, but she doesn't make YouTube videos anyway, so can't do that. Who else? Is it in a couple, but I forget it. So those are gonna be the people I will nominate. Would love to hear and watch your videos response onto this video. So yeah, love to hear from people. But with that being said, let's go dive right into the water. Yes, too much water. 7.8, the best game ever. At what game did you play? At what age did you play video games? I played video games when I was 6 years old. I basically got my first arcade-looking thing. So basically, like, it was a weird machinery, and it has basically sprites. If you know about those gaming watches that Nintendo used to make, it was sort of like that, but it was a big machine. And my first real gaming experience. So it wasn't really a console of any sort, but there was where I started gaming, and I was kind of like really diving into it. And then I got Nintendo, and yeah, I was 6 years old after that, so it was completely blown away. Magic, dreams, man. Freaking games were the best. So, Kai, there was a bit of a minor interruption there, but Speaking of interruption, I'm gonna take a sip of water because very healthy, so I don't have freaking hydrate here. But yeah, so 6 years old. What was your first console? My first console was Nintendo, as I mentioned just a second ago. I got it for Christmas from my father, which was like the only gift I got from that guy, and yeah, basically that. I don't even know what made him even get it in the first place. Like, I haven't really talked about it. I didn't even know it existed. But if he got it, no, he didn't get it from Fred. He probably bought it. But it was Nintendo, without doubt, and I love it. I had like the Blues Brothers in it, which is a pretty bad game. But back in those games, back in those days, there was no such thing as bad games. Like, you could play anything. If E.T. for Atari was your first gaming experience, even that was mind blowing. But then you start to compare it with others, and you start to understand how big of a shit that game is. Yeah. And even now, the internet spoils us. Like, you don't even understand how our brains cannot comprehend the idea of internet. There's just too much information. Like, you really watch out. Like, go Google this. Seriously. Like, internet can fuck you up. But that's totally a different question for another time. There's no such question as this. What the hell am I talking about? But yeah, what was the first game you bought? The first game I bought with my own money, I'm gonna go with my own money, you know, not my parents' money, was Mickey Mouse Magic Wand, I believe, for Game Boy. I didn't really buy anything from Nintendo back. I was like, come on, I was like 8, 9 years old. I didn't have money, so the games I had were probably with the Nintendo that I got. I didn't really get any other games from friends because basically not many had Nintendo. But the Game Boy, definitely, Mickey Mouse Magic Wand. It was a great game, so I feel like that was definitely money worth wasting, if anything. If you could only have one console, what would it be? Handheld console. I'm gonna go with Game Boy. There's too many games on Game Boy that I love, that I will always cherish. I got some of my favorite games of all time in there, like Zelda Oracle Seasons, Oracle Ages, Zelda Link's Awakening. So I guess I'm gonna go with Game Boy Color because you can have back compatibility. But the fat Game Boy is so nostalgic. Still, it like weighs a ton, so you gotta be like a freaking muscle man to freaking play that shit. No, but seriously, I like it. I like Game Boy. But Game Boy Color is mostly the console I would pick if I had one console for the rest of my life. What games are you currently playing? I'm gonna be honest right now. I'm playing Pokemon. I would love to play Bloodborne. I would love to play The Witcher when it comes out, but I hadn't had the chance to play it. Plus, I've been kind of staying away from the internet in general. Basically, online gaming, I haven't done it in years. The games I will play right now that I do plan on playing is Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for the 3DS, as well as basically just keep on playing Pokemon a little bit more because I want to experiment with stuff and share it with you guys. But outside of that, Pokemon Light Strike Light, but you guys know which Let's Play I'm doing, which is coming back, by the way, for you guys that are waiting for it. And that's pretty much it. What was the hardest game for you to finish? Contra. I was at friend's house, my friend Ruby, basically cousin, and we played Contra, and we played together as a co-op and managed to beat the final boss, Alien. I believe it was the Alien stage. I don't know which Contra this game was. Like, it was on Nintendo, and after that I played by myself and managed to beat it, and I was like truly like freaking, oh my god, I'm freaking legend right now. Like, it made you feel really rewarded because the game was incredibly hard. But that was probably the hardest game I managed to even finish. Then I would play like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which I did own on Nintendo, but I never even got to Mike Tyson, and looking at it, I would have never beaten it. Like, basically Mike Tyson one-shot you, and it's crazy. But yeah, Contra for Nintendo. What game you couldn't finish? Why? Exactly, like I said, Nintendo, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I don't even know. Yeah, I didn't get to Mike Tyson in general, but looking at it now, also a game that I cannot seem to finish is Contra 4 for the DS. The reason is because I tend to play on the hardest settings. I cannot go with medium settings anymore. I cannot go with easy. I need difficulty. I need spike difficulty that is insane, like where basically speedrunners master. And I'm not a speedrunner of any sort, but I cannot seem to go normal at all. Like normal, I can. If I got like the hardest difficulty, I will pick the hardest difficulty no matter what. For I feel like the reward is there. While yes, the game needs to be semi handled to repetitiveness because you gotta get used to it. And Contra 4 is definitely one of those games you just pick up, play, go to second stage, you die again, and you then put it down and come back again and see how far you can get in that setting. But Contra is that game. I get to like level 3 and there is where it ends, man. There's just way too many freaking bullets coming at you. And it's hard to tell where, because of the environment and the small screen, it's really hard to tell where are the bullets, you know. It's just freaking crazy. So we gotta have sharp eyes. But that is the game I cannot seem to beat. And Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and I will never beat that game. I pretty much made it clear that game beat me. So yeah, what's the game you played most times? And then we got another question: what's the game you spend most hours with? Pokemon for the most hours with. Pokemon and Phantasy Star Online, that is for the most hours with. Because basically, Phantasy Star Online was a different experience for me. Back when I was 15 years old. I don't know what's up with me, but I seem to be a sucker for connection. Like, no matter if it is from games or in real life, I seem to be a huge sucker for connection. If I like connect with somebody, it's totally different for me. And I don't know. I sometimes even wonder if I'm a fucking demisexual or something like that. But basically, when I was 15 years old, I played Phantasy Star Online. This was my first online experience, like real online multiplayer experience that had no friends to dealt with, you know, like 4 players at home, local. It's not the same, like real online global. I played this game, I look at it, and I enjoyed it. But then there was this one character called Bunny Mama, and you know, basically we kind of like connect in the game to a point where I would have freaking go like hunt for gifts like on Valentine's Day to kind of give her this gift. It's just crazy times, you know. I kind of really connect with this character, and whether or not this character was played by a male or a female, while I do need to say that her approach by texting and everything, it was pretty feminine, basically a very, it was female. I could semi like feel this, okay, this needs to be female, but playing it at least, but who knows. I kind of really get connected with this person, and I feel like I played so many more hours because of her. When I mean more hours, I mean probably like near 200 hours. But then I don't know what happened. I believe it was hard to get her because I wasn't registered and I couldn't find her anymore, so kind of stopped playing the game. I really do wonder if she's playing Phantasy Star Online too, because I was named Xenon in that game. I was named Xenon. I was a blue hair human race badass with a gun. It's crazy, but I love it. I still remember that one moment when I'll never forget, because it's crazy, you know. We're 15 years old, you're on those days of magic, and you got something like this going on in your games. I mean, it's crazy, you know. You really feel like driven into this world, fiction world, more than anything else, because of the special person that's playing in it. And basically I got into the global station where you can sign in and get missions and all, and I was kind of looking for her, right? I was like, where are you now? Let's go kick some ass, let's have some fun. And she was with these 2 guys, right? 2 guys. So those 2 guys were kind of a bit of a jerk, you know. They were like full of themselves, and I was like, but I got you a gift. And she just got running back. It was crazy. It was funny, but seriously, I still remember what they say. They were like, "Oh, he got us. He's one step ahead," and yeah, I feel pretty great about that. No, but seriously, it was different. It was a different experience, and probably the game that I put a lot of hours into after Pokemon, most likely the most hours. So yeah, that is the game I spent most hours with, if I put Pokemon outside. But it's a Pokemon channel, we don't want all answers to be Pokemon. So what games you played the most time? So if you like turning on, turning off, The games that are extremely hard, but they're really like the games you play in a moment. Like Contra, for example, you just play in a moment, turn off, turn on. Real simple games that aren't really games you would play for hours on end, but just games you just play a little bit. That you kind of like, oh, I got my drive, you know, putting it down, putting it up again, playing a little bit, putting it down, putting it up again. You know, games like that. But looking at it, I cannot seem to say which game was like that. You know, basically. Contra 4 could have been it, but Contra is a new game, so going back when I play more Pokemon, sorry, like the hours I put into it, the many times I disconnect, connect, crazy, but I don't want to have Pokemon. No, let's go with Contra, yeah. So it was Contra. What's your favorite game? There are so many gems out there. This is a question I would love to answer because you guys need to go play these games. We're gonna go with PC, we're gonna go with consoles, we're gonna go handheld consoles, and I'm gonna go with all of them, right? Let's start with PC. There was a game called Gothic 1 and 2. 3 was decent, 4 was a letdown. There was new characters and I just couldn't connect with those games. I feel like the development of those games was rushed and everything just didn't have the feeling, the Gothic feel, the sinister, the atmosphere that old games had. So, what was this game? Gothic 1 and 2. Absolute gems. You don't even know what you have been missing up till this day that I mentioned to you, Gothic 1 and 2. Because now, you will go and you will torrent this or you will buy this because they're really cheap, and I would recommend you guys to go buy it because torrenting, you know, it's like if you got it for 24 hours then you're under the rules, but still, you know, but who am I kidding? Go buy this game because you will love it. Okay, first of all, it's a very glitchy game because it's open world. You're thrown into this Gothic world where slavery is a thing, and it's setting in the middle medieval settings. You know, now it's a sword. You can be assassin, you can be a mage, you can be all sorts of things. It's got something like sort of a Elder Scroll setting, but the thing is that I couldn't really I'm gonna go into the Elder Scroll a little bit later, but the game has a character that's very memorable. He speaks also. All the dialogues are in voices. Lots of voice acting. The voice acting is incredible. The world is incredible. The enemies are incredible. You can level up. You can get to your mentor that teaches you stuff like assassin level and new moves, new combats. It's got so many good things going on for it. It's like a mixture of all the things I love. Like I love what my characters can develop. Like imagine you are, for example, you are thrown, you're beat up by some people, and then Diego, your best friend in the game, basically saves you and mentions there are 3 camps. There's old camp, there's new camp, and there's another camp I can't seem to remember right now. But you can join into these camps. You can talk to the people there, and you can. When you're first in there, you're a rookie, you're a novice, right? You're so under level, anybody can beat you up. Like you can, but if you're powerful enough, you can get in like a mage and freaking destroy everybody just through meteors and just see the experience point just grow up like it's crazy. It's such a satisfying feeling of a game that gives you extreme open world. Like their possibilities in these games are insane. Like you see a chest in this one little small area and it's guarded by a person, or you know, he's just there sitting and he's like you know, at the firework, and you talk to him, but then you want to have his chest and he just attacks you because that is his chest. He's not gonna be like freaking, you know, completely ignore it. No, the game is incredibly open, and you're open to possibilities. Like you can be freaking jumping on rooftops of things, and you can just go to the king if you want to, but then the guards are gonna kill you. It's crazy. You can go directly to like the end mission if you're crazy enough, just because of how open the world is, but you know, to possibilities. But the game is also very long if you go play by the book and take all the missions. Very long, very crazy, incredible experience, incredible characters, incredible dialogues. It's just story, atmosphere, music is insane. I love Gothic, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, the game has it all. So basically it was a German development by Piranha, And if I could play one game for the PC for the rest of my life, it would have been the Gothic series 1 and 2 in particular. The second one starts right after the first one end, and there are dragons that came out, and it's freaking insane. And then the second one has something that I would love to have. You know Pokemon Gold and Silver, and why people love Pokemon Gold and Silver? There was one reason. Well, there are two. Trainer Red, of course, from the first game, but the second one is you could go back in time and recheck Kanto. That is a feeling of nostalgia. That is a thing that so many games do not give us. And I have like freaking goosebumps right now. Like on top of my fucking head just talking about it. This is fucking incredible. But then you go and you look at other games and they just don't have this. Well, Gothic 2 has that same feeling. You explore the new areas. There are pirates too. You can like, there's just so much stuff this game gives us. Ogres and trolls and so many good stuff. But then you go to this one teleporter and you get into the first world. The first world. You can go back to the castle and realize there's just so many ogres basically, basically camping there. There's a war, there's a huge war where dragons basically rule, and it's crazy. And just going back to the world knowing you can explore everything you explore in the first game is insane. Like if you really love the first game and you go into the second world, seeing this, it will blow your mind. It will really do. Because I was totally driven into the first one. There is no fucking way I would have ignored this without being blown away. So that's the thing I really like about Gothic 1 and 2. But it took a while, right? Sorry. PlayStation 2 game, well, PC game also, Grandia 2, I love that. PlayStation 1, Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. My god, that game is insane. I love Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time. Game Boy, as I said, Zelda Oracle of Ages, Zelda Oracle of Seasons, Zelda Link's Awakening. I don't know what's up with those games, but the way you can control time in one and control seasons in the second one made the puzzle so much more interesting. But it's basically the setting as well, like looking down on the character, and just the whole atmosphere was right. And I just feel that Zelda was always the best that way. I love 3D, don't get me wrong. Oracle of Time, Zelda Oracle of, was it Majora's Mask? And wow, I do kind of like Majora's Mask a little bit more because of how different it was, how dark it was. But Oracle of Time was incredible too. But I just seem to go back to Oracle Season and Oracle of Ages and kind of go with those, But yeah, those were the Game Boy games. Which one should I pick next? Which one do we got? We got which? Well, basically, I'm gonna go with those. Those games that I just mentioned. Those are my favorite games. What's your favorite horror game? Horror. What's your favorite horror game? Oh, I don't know what did that, but horror game is Alone in the Dark one for the PC. Basically, it's really pixelated. The graphics are so outdated, but back in the days they were revolutionary. But just the way the game atmosphere, the game's just sound, it was really silent at times. But then, just and we were like, oh, what? Seriously, the game had it all. I love it. But it really isn't about the graphics, it's about the atmosphere. Like you can get like the worst graphical game, but if it's got the atmosphere, like if it's got that horror driven, like you aren't safe anywhere and you aren't like freaking bulletproof and having like millions of bullets just it's just there, So most definitely, like I said, it was Alone in the Dark 1. Now I do need to say that Amnesia did I like Amnesia, but the thing is, I seem to be more scared of the enemies in the water because of how they were approaching you. That you just weren't ever safe because the sound was just getting to you and it was louder and louder. It's crazy. Those enemies basically scare me the most. While the main one, when I see it, I kind of get used to it. Of his face and how wacky he looks. And then I just wasn't as scared. But the water enemies I was scared of because I just couldn't see them. Like, seriously, they were like invisible or something. and that is what made it that much scary. Now Silent Hill is incredible too. Amnesia for the new age, Silent Hill for the first one for the PlayStation. I gotta say that I gotta appreciate that game a lot, because the franchise is incredible. But I didn't beat a single one. Now while I did play it, completely hooked, man. The Suffering, I believe it was called, also the game. The Suffering, I believe it was called The Suffering, was again a horror game that started in the prison, and it had these enemies that sort of reminded me of the not the actual of the, I cannot seem to remember, so I'm just gonna forget it. But The Suffering is also a game, but the favorite, like I said, is of course Alone in the Dark one. The last Alone in the Dark was pretty horrible, I heard, so I'm not even gonna play it, but that's what seems to be a thing. Your favorite Saga, so you mean like a franchise, like put together of games. Gothic, yeah, Gothic basically, like Saga. Did you guys read one article? Well, actually I've been hearing this on YouTube, somebody that had Saga in their game and then suing everybody that had the word Saga. And as well as this one time, Candy Crush, I believe it was the game that was developed by people, and those people, well, the main person behind it, sue everybody else that had Candy as a, like basically as a name in the store or something. What? It was just insane. But this kind of remind me of that. So, but is that what you're supposed to say with Saga, like a game that's got multiple installments? Also, I like Hatch Q, because of how it was developed. It's like Sword Art Online, the anime, but it's the game, and they even made the anime, and I love the anime because the game kind of started from where the anime end, and you guys need to go check out the anime. What is this game all about? It was in 3 volumes, Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. I played all 3 of them, but Hatch Q, the main protagonist, he is a badass. Like, he wants to freaking be the strongest, but then he becomes weak when faced by this hacked character that when kills somebody, the real person actually dies behind the screen while playing it, because the game is set up in the online world where people play online character in the virtual world, but this hack character can kill people and you gotta like beat him, but he's too strong and he kills your loved one. So it's kind of crazy, but it's got everything. It's an amazing game and an amazing volume Saga installment you need to play for the whole game. Story is incredible. While the gameplay is incredibly limited and extremely repetitive, but the story, the characters made up for that. You know, sometimes the story, the characters are well worth invested, even if the gameplay is out. You know, a little bit repetitive, but that's what role playing is basically most of the time. So you really gotta get used to the repetitiveness to this kind of things. But yeah, definitely. I also like Arcane in the second game, like a female red hair girl, because of how her. We're gonna go into this a little bit later because it's interesting. I seem to realize from games and general real life how I look at things. But you're gonna hear where we're gonna get that. So yeah, what's your favorite top 3 male characters and top 3 female characters in video games? Right. For the 3 female characters, it's really hard to find because you guys know how it works. Main driven target has been males from the start. Male domination over games. Now lots of females play it, so that's a huge sign. I like that. Yeah, I really do like that because it's a huge like thing you can share, and you know, you're lucky enough if you got a girlfriend that plays games with you. 3 male characters. I like Lunar to Eternal Blue, the main character hero. He was a typical. I like main characters to be typical hero stereotypes. Like, you know, they're gonna do everything to save this girl, and it's just typical things. But he had character development. He has his own see into things, his own ways, and I respect when developers put enough efforts to make each character different from each other, not to be typical generic types when everything is gonna be agreeable. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, No, seriously, I want my characters are like this, a little bit more deeper in development. So hero from Lunar to Eternal Blue. Then we got Grandia 2. it's something we got to do with 2 that seems to really stand out from the rest. Even with Gothic 2. Gothic 2, I even more appreciate Gothic 1 because the nostalgia you can actually revisit from the second one. Even Pokemon, because Gold and Silver is like 2, right? Where you can go back to the camp. It's crazy. I don't know what the second installment seems to sometimes even be better for some people, but it's all based on personal taste and how you look at it. You know, there's no such thing as better or worse. There's just such, you know, such thing as your personal taste on the things. So, but Grandia 2, there was Ryudo. I like Ryudo character. You know, he was determined and basically very strong and hero alcoholic thing. Ryudo was cool. Who else for the third? We got Hiro, we got Ryudo. Ryu, I guess I could say from the Ryu from the oh man, what? I cannot. Oh my god, I cannot seem to. I cannot believe I actually forgot this. Fire. No. Breath of Fire. Yes, of course, Ryu from Breath of Fire. Well, I believe the thing is, guys, my character doesn't need to talk. No, actually, Ryu is cool. He doesn't need to talk. It's just the approach they make. Like sometimes body talk is even more important because we body talk more than we talk. Actually, you know, it's like what 80% body talk and then 20% mouth, air, talking, muscles and stuff. But Pokemon Trainer Red from the old games. When you think about it, he didn't need to say anything to you to blow your freaking mind. He was God in that freaking cave all by himself. I don't even know, man, but he was cool. You just got to him and it was like dot dot dot. You know, shit is just about to go down, but there's lots of dots going on. There's lots of waiting, you know, waiting that intensity between the trainers, just ready to duel it out. So I gotta say, Pokemon Trainer Red, man, when you get goosebumps just talking about Pokemon Trainer Red, you know he is the shit. No, but seriously, definitely. So, 3 female characters. Now, this is very interesting because this is gonna be, right. So, let's go into this. First, I gotta go with Lucia, Lunar to Eternal Blue. She was like the female main protagonist to a certain extent. Well, Hero is like typical main protagonist you play, but then you play many more characters that were memorable. But Lucia, I don't know what's with this character, but I don't know how girly this is, but I never really had a fictional crush because, you know, reality fictional, but it's still a thing, a certain but I seem to like truly love this character development and just the character look and everything about it. But it was basically like the character development. Whoever made that character, freaking kudos to you. Seriously, she was a daughter from Athena, the goddess. Last time the goddess was at work, she kind of like blew the whole world away. Like seriously blew it away. And then Lucia was in that same position where Zophar was the main villain. He was ready to destroy, and Lucia was having a chance to either save the world by extinguishing, basically destroying every human race on the planet, and with that destroying Zophar as well, the evil god that was trying to actually destroy the world. Actually, Athena didn't destroy the world, she just cleaned the world, you know, with Zophar around, because Zophar was back then even her villain, and she had this, she just couldn't do it because basically because of Hero, and she just couldn't take the whole, oh, if I clean this world, well, I'm gonna like rip him apart and basically fucking, you know what happens, you know, when a meteor strikes, right? The world is still gonna stand, but everybody around, you know, it's gonna be basically dead, gone. So, but the world is still gonna start to live, you know, it's still gonna start to shape, and new race is gonna come out. So basically that is the position that we're in. So, you know, there was so much huge development, and when you beat the game, there were like more, like 20 hours more of after story that you had to go and explore, and at the end, the ending was great. I'm not gonna spoil it, but go play that game. Seriously, it's incredible. It really is. But Lucia from, you know, Lunar to Eternal Blue. Then we got the second one, Millennia from Grandia 2. Again, it's with these games. I guess it's the characters that really stand out that makes these games my favorite games of all time. I guess I really do put lots of approach and scoring onto characters. But Millennia was different, man. For one, Millennia is hot. She's a redhead. I don't know, I seem to have a lot about redheads, then I had a lot about gothic, then a lot about... Well, basically, everything is fine. But Millennia was one of those female characters that is very strong. Like, strong and sort of like a little bit evil and naughty and all sorts of things. And she was like one of the first characters to meet. And they really made some of the dialogues very, very interesting. And just basically Millennia was a girl that is incredibly self-dependent, and like I said, like, just look at her. I mean, she looks like a devil. I don't know. I don't know. It's while Lucia from Lunar Eternal Blue is a character that is very gentle yet really strong too, because she's a goddess basically. So you don't mess around with her, but at the same time she's very, very female. While Millennia is very, very female, but she's got this attributes to her that, you know, makes her that a little bit more dark side. Welcome to the dark side. No, seriously. So the third, Samus from Metroid, without a doubt. I mean, who wouldn't say Samus? Samus is cool, man. Samus is cool with that, you know, that equipment she's got going. Like, you don't mess around with Samus. I've seen that when there was a new game for the Wii, Samus, when there was basically like platforming and not really like Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2 or on the Nintendo. Well, basically it was, you know which game I'm talking about, where actually they go more into Samus's character development, but they made her look a little bit more weaker. Well, you gotta understand, I mean, how people approach Samus was like, she can cry or she can't do this because she's too cool for school and stuff like that. But I seem to like Samus in that game too, because really, when you think about it, if you never cried in your life, then you are emotionless as hell. Like, what kind of person are you? Seriously, there is something heavily wrong with you. And when it comes out to females, you're supposed to expect, like, if something really terrible happens, somebody dies, and she like this person, or, you know, really care for this person, no matter what, really, there are some really bad things that can happen. I mean, you're gonna be freaking expecting them to just be like, you know, completely dry. No, seriously, man, what the hell? But I use Samus, you know, from Metro Prime. You're just playing it, knowing that it's a female you're playing, and how cool she is at some point. Yeah, but then as a character, you need to know, you know, backstory. Let's be serious here. Eventually, everybody breaks. Male, female, does not matter. We all break. So, yes, top 3 female characters in video games. And Millennia, as I said, Grandia 2, Lucia from Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, and Samus Aran from the Metro series. Of course, we got other, like Lara Croft, of course. She's also very cool, and, you know, she's like a big symbol of what female should be like. But let's be serious here. Whoever makes games has got all sorts of rights to what kind of character he needs to make. Whether this character is weak, whether this character is strong, they need to understand that they make games, they got all the rights, you should not complain. You know, because I've heard people saying, no, girls are in there just to be damsels in distress and typical blah 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 blah. But again, they're the ones making the games, they can make their characters the way they want to make their characters. It's not, you know, at the end of the day, male general population of gaming is much bigger, and who doesn't want to freaking save a princess? Let's be serious here. Freaking slaying a dragon and shit like that? Everybody. What's your favorite villain? Grandia 2, brother of Rudo, Melvis. I love how Melvis's moveset was like Rudo's. Rudo had this sword, dragon slash, and like basically like typical brothers, very close to age. Melvis a little bit older, but the thing is, they used to know each other, younger. They used to respect each other, but then share ideas, change a person. And Melvis's ideas were painful to the world, while Rudo was basically saving the world. While Melvis wasn't the final boss, he was basically the most memorable, and he made the final boss look like a goof. because it was like a religion boss, and he was like, you know, a typical priest that became this evil monster, and it was just like, seriously. But while Melvis was, you know, a guy with a sword and freaking, you know, having like a simple guy with a sword, not overdoing anything, just simple guy with a sword. And you know, the battle was memorable because the character was also memorable, and something else. You know, you are in for a painful match. When there's one guy going against 4, when he damages, man. So also all the villains from Shadow Colossus, I feel that game is an absolute art. If people say is gaming art, Shadow Colossus, just go play that game on PlayStation 2. Forget PlayStation 3 for the better frame rates. No, forget that. Shadow Colossus for the PlayStation 2. Play it the way it was meant to be played, and you will see what I mean. Incredible. Also, God Hand bosses were insane. All of them were incredibly memorable. I love it. I really do. But those are my favorite villains, I gotta say. Zophar was incredible too in Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. But mostly all the villains from my favorite games colliding together as final bosses or made bosses, or, you know, dragons from Gothic 2 and so forth. So every villain that really stands out in character development, or just the atmosphere, or just the sheer will to, okay, I know there's a dragon behind this, I want to see this dragon, and you're like, oh man, I gotta beat that. Like in Gothic, for example, you know, you were so far away, you could see the dragon, there was just a horde of enemies between you and the dragon. It was different. So yeah, favorite villain. If you could have lived in video game, which one would it be? Who would you be? Oh man, I completely forgot about The Witcher. I love The Witcher, man. And I guess I could say I would like to be the White Wolf, The Witcher, but I don't know. I mean, his world is very interesting, and White Wolf is freaking badass. Actually, I wouldn't want to be anybody. I want to be myself in the game if I could kind of cheat this system of questioning this question and answer that one. Yeah, I would like to be in a medieval setting, not Gothic, probably The Witcher, and I like that that medieval setting. And I gotta say that basically, looking at it, yeah, Gothic world, not Gothic, The Witcher world, by myself, as me, nobody else. Simple as that. What's your favorite film, book that's based on video games? I haven't really watched many films that are based on video games, so most is the other way around. Most video games, it's like first there's books. Well, yeah, actually I could go the other way around. I guess I could say King Kong for the PC. That was actually very, very like the game that was first, it was a movie, and then it was the game. But the game really lived up to the movie somehow. It really had that same vibe, that atmosphere of exploring and beating dinosaurs and so forth. Plus two ways of playing, as a King Kong or as a human being in, you know, first person. I really like that. So I'm gonna go with that one. What's the video game everybody loves? But then again, films, books, I mean, anime films could include Pokemons and Pokemon, but I don't want to go with Pokemon. So what's the video game everybody loves but you? Everybody? There's no such thing as everybody. Let's be serious here. Okay, now, it's not like I don't love this, but it's more like I never really, the years I go into it was a little bit, I was too old at that point. I wanted to play Morrowind because I know lots of people respect that game in the Elder Scroll. I gone back and I just couldn't get myself into it anymore. I feel like it's not the graphics. Graphics are the last thing. I like myself old graphics, but it's something about the game that maybe the beginning was too long for me. But people that like Elder Scrolls Skyrim, while I did play it, put a little bit over 100 hours into it, they seem to absolutely adore Morrowind. And even Oblivion, for example, I put so many hours into modding, but then I come to realize that I played for like 1 hour and just absolutely got, like, you know, completely drained. Maybe I overdid it with mods. The way I modded that game made everything look like eye candy, man. Crazy. But probably Oblivion and Morrowind. as well as Call of Duty. There's so many people that like first person, but it seems to be there is a question regarding this. Yeah, what's your favorite genre? You probably meant genre that you that you dislike the most. The thing is, disliking something is the wrong word for this. It's like I didn't even bother with it to even dislike it. I love some games in the first person genre, for example Duke Nukem, Painkiller, which games, Wolfenstein. Oh man, Wolfenstein was amazing. But I can't seem to go into Call of Duty. So I could say sports genre, outside of Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. I love those two, especially the first one. But something about general thing about first person, about war, that I didn't really go into it too much. I believe I'll play Medal of Honor, the old one that I beat, and I did enjoy it. Medal of Honor, I really did. But then the Call of Duty 4 demo I played, and I did play a couple of times. Then I stopped completely. Never played the full game. And then afterwards, there were so many games out there, Black Ops, and so many other games coming out, especially the Titans that you were playing, and you know what I mean, the big Titans, the big robots you got in the new installments. And well, I don't even know which development studio made that. Probably development that didn't make Call of Duty, but I can't seem to go into that genre too much. First person. I seem to be sticking with role playing all the time, especially role playing like action adventure style, that your character can actually progress with leveling. You can actually make him stronger with time. But sports and first person to a certain extent, and real life virtual, yeah, Sims and for games like that. Lots of people like it, but I feel like these games are they really need lots of hours, like Minecraft even really need lots of hours, while I just cannot afford that much, while role-playing already requires lots of hours to beat. But The Sims feels like it's got no ending to it, and my sister loves The Sims, but virtual life, that's the one genre I just cannot seem to go into it too much. Yeah, it's just the way it is. So yeah, those are genres. Everybody, I don't really put it into dislike. It's just that the genres that I seem to be very picky, but at the same time, with role playing, I seem to like really grow attached to most games I play, and yeah, that's the difference. What's the most important thing to do when you buy a video game? Okay, this is based on piracy now, because you gotta understand now something. When we got internet, we got extremely spoiled. I mean it. We got extremely spoiled. The better games we played, for you, as I said, everybody stays different. Like, this can be a crap game, but somebody else is gonna absolutely enjoy it. The thing is that, as I mentioned before, internet can be a huge bummer for your brain, because the more you look at stuff, there's too much information, man. Too much information. This goes for everything: gaming, films, music, I don't know, erotic things, everything. There's just too much information, and it will play with your brain. It will play with your brain, and it will keep on stocking up the requirements. It will keep on stocking up new heights for you to get to, but you're never gonna get to that. So watch out. That's all I can say for the internet. Watch out. Don't freaking fool yourself, you know. But sadly, not many people talk about this. While it is very important to address it, but still, the more picky you become. As I said, this can be anything from movies to music to humans. Thinking about it, the more picky you become, the harder it gets. I had a flash card on the DS. I got so many games in there, I just couldn't beat anything. I got to this one game, I played for a while, I couldn't beat it. And I know I was a gamer. I know I was a gamer because one time I lost my internet connection. I played this one game I had on PC, I absolutely adored it. Played it till I beat it for like 4 days. Well, not playing it for whole 4 days, but a couple hours into those days. Loved it, and I felt like a gamer. But when I got back the internet, that feeling gone away again. too much stuff. We are exposed to too much stuff. So the question is, what's the most important thing to do to you when you buy a video game, knowing you actually bought this, knowing that this is actually a physical. I don't agree with the digital copy. I don't care about that. I also don't agree with DLC. Fuck DLC. Just another way to scam you. It doesn't matter what kind of deal. Okay, maybe some DLCs are incredibly, you know, incredibly worth the price they go into, but most of them basically scam, depending on the studios they provide you the DLC in the games. But looking at it, as I said, you know, knowing you got a physical copy, like, let me get one physical copy for you. Right. Pokemon X. Right? Knowing I got a physical copy, this gives me the drive to play it. This gives me a drive, knowing I will save this, and it's gonna be on this cartridge. And yet, knowing this gives me this motivational boost to play it more than how to play a typical copy on a flash card. I just wouldn't value it as much. And like, look at collectors. Some people collect, they don't play, they just collect, just to have it on their shelves, something nice. And there are collectors that collect but play everything. I don't know how they manage to make that happen, because there's too many games they collect at that point. But they really do cherish games, and they mention that in their videos. But again, as I said, having a physical copy is different. It is different. Let me try to compare this with something, for example. Okay, let me try to compare it with Skype. Like, seeing a person from afar or being close to a person, like in real life. Again, it feels different. Copies of games, which is a very weird example, but copies of games and general physical copies of games feel 3DS flashcards feel fake. Those games on there feel fake. While they have their general purpose, they're gonna be a saving library at some point. That's why Priority exists, a saving library, because physical copy can break, while this can be saved up and you can always play. Like, if a person borrows a game from you, you give him this game, you can still play it by downloading it. You got all the rights at the point you own the game, so you are in the restriction rights by the rules set that was given. Then again, nobody generally analyzed this, so you can do whatever you want. Still, I realized that, and I got so many games I love, like Castlevania. Oh man, I completely forgot about Castlevania. I love that series, man. I really do. But as I said, you know, there were just fakes. I didn't beat a single Castlevania game on the DS, but the 3DS one, I got close to the ending. Then I played some other games, but seriously, I got way further than I would have gotten if I was playing it from a flashcard. That is for certain. But I've actually sent that game to my girlfriend. So yeah, still, it's really interesting. But that's the most important thing. When you buy a game, you know you bought this. No matter like where the money came from, you just know you got this physical copy. It feels different. If you are a gamer, you will see that difference. And as I said, internet spoils us. Some people became reviewers while playing games, like not really reviewing for a general company or anything like that, but no, I mean reviewing while they're playing. They're like, why is this enemy so... Are we getting mature and we look at stuff way too serious while we need to understand this is gaming? Or are we trying to compare these enemies with these other games in the past because we played so many games, because internet gave us too much? Like I said, guys, go Google a little bit. Internet gives us too much. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know, when... well, I actually wanted to end that question somewhat else, but yeah, like I said, having a physical copy is different. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been around, you are incredible. 51 minutes, that is insane. You are an insane person. Yeah, status, insane. But, you know, don't believe me. It is what you believe you are. But then again, what am I talking about? But no, seriously, thank you very much for hearing me out. If you're still around, that's freaking amazing. But basically, the people that I did nominate at the beginning. For the people I shall like maybe include in this, I don't remember. No, I'm just gonna end it with that. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you very much. Like if you want to share it with others, want others to hear what I've been talking about here. If you got questions, you know where to find me. You can go to x.com, where I basically answer stuff in crazy, bookish way, making stuff way too long for my own good. But that's how I am, you know. I don't like answering stuff way too simple. I've always been like that. But at the same time, you can give me questions that I can make a video of, if you are so desire. Of course, do so. There can be any kind of questions you want. Honestly, basically right now as it stands, I'm open to all questions, all of them. I don't care, really. I don't. Like, you can ask me maybe the most, like, seriously, the most private things I may skip, because basically those questions are very disrespectful to a person. Depends on the person, but still, I don't know. We're gonna see. Maybe I'm gonna answer those too. I don't know. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and until the next one, take care.